Villages of Killucan and Rathwire are co-located in the east of County Westmeath, Ireland. Killucan was a little village steeped in history that lies to the east of Westmeath. It gets its name from an abbey founded there by St. Lucan, probably in the 6th century.
This is Clonloss Woods. It's just a few kilometres away from the school. In the woods is a graveyard. In this graveyard are some tombstones dating back to the 1800s. Beside the graveyard is a church. In the church you can see the remnants of an altar where the priest used to speak. Also, the priest is buried inside of the church.
The Clonloss also has a pond. The pond has a waterfall and some rocks poking up. It used to be a straight river through, but then the farmer who had a farm on the far side of the pond decided to turn it into a pond. Some people say that there's fish in the pond. Other people say that there's trout in the pond. Next to the river there's a holy stone. The holy stone is a big rock that has a small hole filled up with holy water, and it is said if you put your hand with some warts, it will heal your hand.
The local Gaelic Athletic Association club Killucan GAA fields Gaelic football teams at senior level. They won the Westmeath Intermediate Football Championship in 2005, remained at senior level since. The club has reached the county semi-final in 2006, lost to the eventual champions Terrell's Pass in 2010.
There's also a local hurling club called Raharney. They were founded in 1904. They won 15 Westmeath Senior Hurling Championships, most recently in 2023, and they won 2 Westmeath Intermediate Championships, most recently in 1988. The Camogie Club in Raharney has recently won 10 in a row championships, and they've won 15 championships in the last 16 years.
Hello and welcome to Columba College. Columba College started its journey in 1947 in St. Joseph's Hall. Columba College is the only secondary school in Killucan. The current principal is Dermot Brady. Did you know that in 1970, girls were only allowed to do Leaving Cert in Columba College, but in 1972, boys were also allowed to do Leaving Cert. There is approximately 300 pupils attending. In 1991, they decided to change their school name from St. Joseph's Hall to Columba College.
In Columba College, they do subjects like woodwork, Irish, maths, English, art, French, PE, science and much more. They also take international students. Many of our students go to Columba College.
This is Edmonton National School, also known as Sculnave Powder. Edmonton's school is in the parish of Killucan Barony of Farbill, County Westmeath. There seems to be no explanation as to why the townland is Edmontonstown and the school is Edmonton, nor of the name Huntingdon Electrical Division in which the school is situated. Though locally called Huntingtown, the name Huntingtown may be accounted for the fact that the greater portion of the district is and has been owned by the Purdon family of Lisnamon Castle, well known for followers of the Westmeath Foxhounds. The new school is officially opened in 2023. Before that, there was a school that was built in 1858. It is believed that this area was also used as a hedge school during the penal laws of era. We have some plans from when the school was reconstructed in 1963. Back then, there was foot scrapers, a fireplace, blackboards, urinals, chimneys and lots of trees in the school. Things have changed a lot since then.
The school has changed over the years. It used to be a 2-teacher school. It has grown, and at one stage there were porta cabins used as classrooms. Now we have 4 large classrooms and 2 smaller rooms. Every class has a toilet in them. Years ago, the toilets were outside the classrooms.
An old road can still be traced running by the boundary boundary wall of Clonloss. It runs through the school. A portion of this roadway was located quite recently when some works were being carried out.
The market square, dating around the 1830s by Thomas Keegan, a local stonemason. It was used as a market house and courthouse in the village. There is a cast iron railing at the front and all the stone came from Kilbegan. Coarse rubble limestone was used in the construction over 2 first and second floors. It is a 3-story building that rises above the mainly 2-story streetscape, which dominates Killucan. There was a film made in Killucan in the 1990s called The Fools of Fortune, based in a book by William Trevor. The market square was used during the production of the film. The market square was used for selling and buying goods. People sold things like animals, vegetables, tools, and everyday items here. The building is now owned by the Flynns.
This is Lisnabin House. It was built in 1824 for Edward Purdon after his previous house burnt down in 1819. The whole of Lisnabin House is surrounded by huge stone walls that took over 3 years to build. Lisnabin House is located just outside Killucan and just a minute away from our school. Lisnabin House also has a gatehouse near the front entrance.
The house still stands to this day. Behind it are the stables for the horses. As we fly into the sitting room, we can see a big fireplace, chairs and paintings. Many people in the Kilkenny area Killucan area used to work in this house and on the land around it. They worked as farmhands, which means they helped farmers. They also cleaned the house and kept it tidy. It is a 2-story country house. There are corners turrets around the edges. It is made of limestone with Gothic decorations. There is a long driveway into it as a location near Edmonton National School. It was owned by the Podo family. The man who owns it now has Danish heritage. There was a castle there before this house was made built.
Back when it was first built, in front of the main entrance there was a field where they played polo, kept pigs and lots of different animals. In modern times there was houses being built in fields once belonged to the castle. Lots of interesting belongings of horses and pieces of pottery were found.
This is Killucan Railway. It was built in 1848 and closed to passenger traffic in 1963. It was built by J.S. Mulvaney. He was born in 1813 and died in 1870. There was a campaign for it to be reopened in 2002 and went on for 20 years in 2022. The blue building beside the track is used to put down the signs for stopping the cars. The train railway goes from Dublin to Sligo.
This is Balrat Mill. At the end of a narrow road in Balrat is an old mill whose ownership can be traced back to May 1899 when John Connolly agreed to pay £26 to the Irish Commission and continued payment year after year until purchase price of £672 was paid in full. The Connollys worked the mill until John's death in 1916. In his last will and testament, John left property his son Andrew.
His daughter Elizabeth as Spencer, he left the sum of £250, the exclusive use of a fully furnished room in the dwelling house, access to all of the other areas of the house at all reasonable hours. To Michael Connolly, another member of the family who was living in Meath at the time, he left the sum of £15 to pay for his funeral expenses when his day came. Today the mill and the farm now belongs to me and my family.
This is the Royal Canal in Rathwire. It was built between 1790 and 1817, reaching Killucan from Dublin in 1805. It grew in importance of transporting people and goods until the mid-19th century. After this, the advent of rail and road travel in Ireland led to its slow decline, and it formally closed in 1961. To this day, you still see boats on the canal. The canal is now used for recreational activities. These include fishing, canoeing, cycling and walking.
This is a small dance hall. There is the older ruins of a dance hall not far from our school in Clonakilbant. By the 1960s, dance halls were the most popular pastime of young adults in Ireland. The oldest dance hall in Ireland is Esker Dance Hall in County Longford, which was built in 1947. At dance halls, boys and girls used to meet and dance together. Many of our grandparents met their loved ones at these dance halls.
This is Millerstown House. It was built in 1780, which is 244 years ago. The first owner of the house was John Friends. The second owner was James, Duke of York, who then became King James II. But he didn't live in the house, he just owned it. The third owners were the Nugent family. There was a gap of nearly 100 years where there was no ownership until 1839, where it is recorded that a Dr. Edward West owned the house. Fun fact, the house was never bought, just passed down by wills, and one of the children in our school has connections to the house. Their grandparents now own it.
This is St. Joseph's Church. The foundation for this beautiful church was laid in 1872 and was completed 7 years later. It was dedicated in July 1879 by Archbishop Michael. This was a considerable achievement considering the poverty of the people who were emerging from famine periods, and also the courage of Dean McManus, who undertook this task in his late 70s. Many of the children in this school has had their first Holy Communion in this church. Father Stan is currently the priest in this church. He is also the chairperson of our school.
This is Connor's shop. It used to be a post office and an army barracks.
It also used to be a doctor dispensary. In the 1900s, the government gave people vouchers. The vouchers were called butter vouchers. In most shops, there was an old weighing scales to weigh fruit or veg. This shop wasn't too far from our school. This shop was owned by Jim O'Callaghan and Tonette O'Callaghan. This was my grandparents' shop. Now this shop is a house. I'm not sure who lives in it right now.
This is the manse of Killucan. The house is located just outside of Killucan on the Downs Road. On October 3rd, 1844, the first Presbyterian church was built in Killucan, which is beside the house. The house, the manse, was built in 6 years later in 1850, which is 174 years ago. The manse is where the ministers lived. The first minister to live there was Reverend Henry Shea McKee. There's a tree in the garden whose trunk is 1.6 metres wide. There's a shed across from the house where horses were breeded and made the Olympics. The Presbyterian church is used by the Scouts, and in the garden there are foxes, owls, badgers, shrews, rabbits and hedgehogs.